Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise tonight in adjournment proceedings to pursue a question I first asked on February 15th, which is in relation to the loss of RCMP services at a number of airports in British Columbia and elsewhere as well, Class 2 airports. And it was a program that was funded by the federal government. It was the response I got from the Parliamentary Secretary, the Minister of Public Safety at the time, said that the deployment of RCMP assets was an operational decision of the RCMP and not related to a decision of this particular administration. But I have to say, Mr. Speaker, it's a loss for the airport in Victoria, which is actually in Sidney, BC, in my riding. The presence of these RCMP officers was enormously helpful. At Kelowna. Although Kelowna is in a quite spectacularly beautiful part of Canada, as we know in the Okanagan, it actually happens to be, according to security experts with whom I've consulted, something of a thoroughfare for smuggling of drugs, weapons. It is in an area where there are significant markets in northern Alberta, and without the RCMP detachment at the Kelowna airport, there is a concern that there will be an increase in drug dealing and other offenses. Now, this comes as well, Mr. Speaker, at the same time that there have been significant cutbacks in border security agents. There are, according to the union representing the border guards, the Canada Border Service Agency has had cuts of up to 1,000 people. I think a lot of us saw the news coverage of the loss of the Canine Division, which was very, very efficient and effective and accurate at detecting the presence of illicit drugs, narcotics, and so forth at borders. So we've lost the Canine Division. We've lost the workforce of Canada Border Service agents who worked with that canine force. We're losing security along the Canada-U.S. border at the same time that these cutbacks of the RCMP have lost its protection in our airports. Now, I have to say that I find this rather baffling from an administration that has fashioned itself as tough on crime, and as one that wants to protect Canada and protect Canadians from the threats of violent crime and from the threats of illegal and illicit activity. This is, in fact, not just affecting, particularly the Canada Border Service agents, not just affecting so-called backroom arrangements, backroom agents and operations, but actually will affect the frontline operations of border security agents in such a way that the President of the Union feels that smugglers will get the upper hand. I think it really would be appropriate for the federal government to revisit these ill-advised cuts and to restore and replace the presence of RCMP officers in the Class 2 airports, such as in Victoria, such as in Kelowna, and at the same time to revisit cutting border security agents. These are ill-cited, ill-conceived cuts in that they will cause far more damage through the loss of security than they can possibly gain in austerity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands for providing me with the opportunity to respond to some of her concerns. Like other police services across Canada, the RCMP in British Columbia provides on-site policing at airports. Airport security in Canada is designated into 3 tiers across the country. Tier 1 includes larger airports with policing detachments such as Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, and other similar larger centres. And the policing detachment in each Tier 1 airport is provided by the police of the jurisdiction in that municipality where the airport is located. Tier 2 airports are located in medium-sized municipalities that include things like Kelowna or Victoria. Tier 3 airports are located in small communities across Canada and do not have dedicated police presence as part of their security measures. Security assessment of all airports is a continuous effort of Transport Canada.
Funding for security measures at airports is provided by Transport Canada directly to the Airport Authority and the municipality.
For security measures at airports is provided by Transport Canada directly to the Airport Authority and municipality in question. The RCMP provision of policing services under contract is conducted through cooperation with the municipality and the chief operating officer in each airport. Total security operations for each airport include various measures. For example, perimeter fencing, employee security passes, and controlled access zones. Budget allocations by Transport Canada are based on the assessment to determine the risks and need of security at each airport. In 2012, Transport Canada estimated that existing security measures as a whole at Tier 2 airports, including Kelowna, Victoria, other than dedicated police officers and detachments, are sufficient to ensure public safety at these airports. We have confidence in Transport Canada's assessment that the overall security package at Canadian airports, including Kelowna and Victoria, provide maximum security and safety measures for all Canadians. Let me assure you that the policing presence at Kelowna and Victoria airports is ongoing through routine patrols and by responding to all emergency 911 calls for service. With that being said, I thank the member for her query, and I now anticipate her follow-up.
The honourable member for Saanich, Gulf Island.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Certainly when we lost the RCMP presence at the Victoria Airport, the Victoria Airport Authority had said that they found the presence of the RCMP extremely important at the airport. It's hard to quantify the benefit of having them present because, as the Airport Authority officials noted at the time in the Times Colonist, their mere presence at the airport may in fact have offset and prevented crimes from occurring. With all respect to the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, I'd suggest to him that his 3 tiers are not enough. We have to have airport security as a priority, border security is a priority, and when the unions that represent border service agents say that they think smugglers will get the upper hand, Canadians should be worried. When the RCMP officers are pulled from our airports for austerity reasons, I think we should all be concerned. It's a small amount of prudence for a large amount of benefit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, the RCMP, as the police of jurisdiction, will continue a police presence at the Kelowna and Victoria airports with routine patrols and in response to 911 emergency calls for service. And I assure the member that the RCMP is well equipped, well trained, and well positioned to continue to carry out this essential function, and we will support our national police force in so doing. Thank you.